When Crisis Comes to Church is a one-day seminar that takes church leaders and pastors and other officials through the process of analyzing their own church in light of the four streams through which crisis comes. It helps each church determine their vulnerability. It lets them analyze their situation and see where they are. Some things they're good at, maybe some things that they're really lacking in. It gives them, at the end of the day, a plan of action so they know exactly what they need to do to limit their risk and to ensure that they have a plan in place to benefit their people. So many times when we talk about crisis and we talk about prevention, we're talking about our facilities, our buildings, our vehicles. But the most important asset a church has is the members, those people that make up their congregation. Not just from the fact of ministry alone, but realizing that every dollar contributed comes from a body, from a person. And we are not putting as much emphasis on caring for them in times of tragedy and trauma as we are in making sure that we have a plan in place to replace our buildings or replace our vehicles. When Crisis Comes to Church addresses that. It addresses the vehicles and the buildings, of course, but it also teaches you how to establish a crisis response ministry that makes sure that in times of crisis and trauma that nobody in your congregation is overlooked and no individual falls through the cracks. But it shows that every person is valuable and every person makes a difference. And by putting the plans in place and doing some scenarios and working through some issues even before they occur, it gives church leaders confidence to know how to handle circumstances that will arise. It's obvious that you cannot plan and prepare for every situation, but by planning and preparing when negative things do happen, you have a place to start and you have some concepts and some principles that you can apply. When Crisis Comes to Church, a one-day seminar that will equip your church, leave you with a plan. We'll talk about security. We'll talk even at the end about working with people in grief and crisis and give some practical tips on how to minister to people who are in grief. It's well worth the investment, and it's something that every church needs to seriously consider.